So looks like we are ready to get into this game. So let's get this underway.
Yes, indeed. A little bit interesting now. We are going on to Prokhorovka now. Obviously, the map with the train line and the road skirting it, quite an open battlefield. And, you know, one where the, you know, artillery can really shine here. Both teams taking some artillery. You know, MP taking the M12 and Lorraine 155-50 coming out for the Grumpy Old Men, which we did see in the first game. So, looking at the tank picks now from MP, we do have the three IS-3s, a T-34. So, there we go. That's that premium heavy tank from the American heavy tank tier as well. Two T2 lights as well, and obviously that M12 artillery for the SMP crew. And what about the Grumpy Old Men, Go-Go?
Yeah, the Grumpy Old Men, they've got two AMX 50-100s. Those very strong French auto loaders there. They've also got a couple of mediums in the mix there as well. So as you can see there, Griven and Fresh Meat, they're on those T69s. So pretty excited for those ones as well. Of course, they do have their arty, Lorraine 155-50. That's going to be played by Major Minor and a couple of light tanks. They've actually got the Tier 3 Panzer 1C and the Tier 1 Light Tractor there. So it looks like we're getting this game underway.
Yes, indeed. Now, we are seeing Misguided Ponies work towards the left side of the map. They have just crossed the train line at B6 and have spotted Blade on the, see, he's got that Panzer 1C there, so he's obviously being used as a bit of a proxy scout. So he has been spotted now by Neo on that IS-3, and it does seem like a fairly concerted push. We are seeing the artillery set up on that island in the top right corner, about B9, and Nana Hammock there is obviously going to try and deal some death from above with that M12. And the shots are coming out as the Misguided Ponies do approach now. Rosenritter almost getting hit by that artillery there, and they are all moving up pretty strong there around the left side or the right side of that train line, Go-Go.
Yeah, and just looking at the Grumpy Old Men, they're really aggressively pushing here, pushing up the 6 line here. They've got their 2 mediums, they've got their 2 T69s pushing up here, Fresh Meat and Griven. So they're kind of heading towards the base and potentially trying for a flank onto the Misguided Ponies here.
Oh dear, look at this.
Oh wow, they find M-Fighter. Their M-Fighter is dropped. Fresh Meat gets that kill, and there is the arty down so quickly for the Misguided Ponies, and it looks like we're seeing an engagement in the middle there.
Yes, indeed. They're going head-to-head around these houses here at F6, and it is on like Donkey Kong now. Look at the aggression here from Terminator. Cops some heavy damage, like 561 damage. Bingo Bongo still fresh as a daisy now. Damage going on to Zenyatta. Bingo Bongo got an engine fire. That's going to be a problem, though. He does put it out very, very quickly now. The tanks are going head-to-head. These IS-3s and the T-34 getting in and close. Zenyatta, Bingo Bongo going very low, 35% and 23% respectively now. Oh, Zenyatta goes down, and Bingo Bongo soon to follow, 4%. He's going to hit the deck. So Misguided Ponies coming out pretty good in that one. But, you know, amongst those, obviously we did lose the 2 5100s there from the the Grumpy Old Men going down there, but obviously 4 tanks going down in the process. IS-3, M12, and the 2 T2 lights going down for Misguided Ponies. So excellent work by Griven there, getting up and around and coming straight down into the artillery from Misguided Ponies. They're going to be missing that one sorely, Go-Go.
Yeah, and as we say that, though, the base is getting capped there. It's on 80% now. The Grumpy Old Men might just be able to pull this off. We've only got those 2 IS-3s and the T-34 even left for the Misguided Ponies there, and GG's are called. There's the base cap. Very well played there to the Grumpy Old Men, getting a sneaky cap in there.
Yes, indeed, and they did a similar thing in that in the first time we cast them as well, they split the team off into 2 distinct divisions. They had the 5100s rolling together and the T69s rolling together. And all they did, they baited a massive engagement in the middle of that map around the train line and really drew the attention, you know, of the Misguided Ponies. And sneakily, they went and capped. So lovely work there from you know, the crew at Grumpy Old Men. Very clever. And I don't think that the Misguided Ponies are going to want to fall for a tactic like that again. Obviously, they did lose their scouts early on. They didn't have the vision on their own base. They were really all in, really aggressive as they pushed across the map. And I tell you what, the Grumpy Old Men really took advantage of that one, Go-Go.
Yes, certainly. And that arty getting dropped so early for the Misguided Ponies really hurt them. M-Fighter there, he was just hanging at the back. But, you know, the speed of those T69s and obviously Griven and Fresh Meat, they knew exactly where they head. They knew where M-Fighter was going to be once they, you know, once they spotted the rest of the Misguided Ponies there. So, you know, great bit of play by them. And well-deserved win, of course, guys. Remember, this is the first match in this best of three, so we've still got at least one more match to come, and we're going to have to see whether the Misguided Ponies can change out their strats a bit to kind of adapt to how the grumpy old men are playing, and we'll see as well. Looks like the next map may potentially be Ruinberg.
Yeah, that's interesting and maybe a little bit exciting as well, because Ruinberg boasts the best of both worlds. So if you're thinking of Prohorovka versus Himmelsdorf kind of context, we've got half that map is cityscape. You do have those buildings, you do have the the protection from artillery in that close quarters combat without any real foliage, but also half of that map on the right side also is sort of more open. Like, you can send your scouts up there to try and flank, and if you have if you have intelligence on the enemy, you can really dominate on Ruinberg, because the streets are all, they radially come out there from the left side of the map. The streets are quite straight. If you have that vision, you can shoot down a street. You can get a very, very long shot off, and a lot of those tanks are pretty decent at sniping, especially if we do see something to the effect of some of those heavy tanks with that really good accuracy that we do want to see. But I seem to have been dropped from that one. I don't know about you, Go.
I think they did have to reselect their tanks, so for now it looks like while they're just reselecting those, obviously unfortunately they're going to have to recreate the room, but once that room is back up, we will of course be right back into it, guys. And in fact, that's a good time. While we're getting that room just sorted out, we'll just cue a quick little video, guys, so stay tuned. We will be back in a moment. Alrighty, guys, so we are back in here and just getting this room sorted out here for the next match, which is, of course, Game 2 in the best of three between the Grumpy Old Men and the Misguided Ponies. And Uber, I hope the second match here will be as exciting as the first one. That was just a great match to start this best of three series off with.
Yeah, I love it there. A bit of sleight of hand from the Grumpy Old Men there, as they do use their vision and mobility on the map of Prokhorovka to their advantage. As I said, really sending in those AMX 5100s essentially as bait tanks. When you do see those two heavy tanks in the middle of the map, your scout is going to kind of assume that your team is moving up as a group. Basically, Grumpy Old Men split their team, and not in a detrimental manner. They did it such that those two heavy French tanks could support one another. They were fast and were able to get around, secure objectives and definitely cover the map well. Whilst those sneaky T69 medium tanks and obviously the scouts would make their way up the complete, the other side of the map. They split off from the main group is what's really important to notice there. The Grumpy Old Men I was watching, they advanced up the train line first of all. They did see Blade on that tier 2 scout. From there they split off. Now it seems that Misguided Ponies didn't notice that there, and all of a sudden after that engagement was over, we saw head to head those AMX 5100s going at the IS3s, and the 5100s got up there. Grumpy Old Man took some pretty heavy damage there, but I think that early push, that flank from Griffin and co on those heavies to take out that artillery, poor placement on the Misguided Pony artillery there, and he got taken down so early, and that really allowed the Grumpy Old Men to not really have any accountability for where they were on the map. They said, well, we can kind of be a bit more flexible here. We know that if we get pinned down, if we get scouted out, well, there's no risk of us copying some damage from that artillery. We can now be a bit more comfortable and try and play a bit more of a scrap fight game, knowing that they had the artillery to do the damage, obviously, to Misguided Ponies there. But I'll tell you what, love a little bait and switch there, and an excellent cap by a Grumpy Old Man. I mean, by the time that the Misguided Ponies got out of that battle, yes, they did win that faked engagement in mid, and then they turned to go towards their own base that was being capped, and it was already 85% captured. So really, there's not much they could do about it at all, Go-Go.
Yeah, absolutely, and just really well executed there by the Grumpy Old Men, and you can really tell they've got a really good team. They've got a lot of synergy with their team, I feel, and strong calls, and that really is what makes a great team, having a good kind of shot caller. I'm not too sure who it actually is in the Grumpy Old Men side, but you can tell, they decided as soon as they got the scout off onto see where the Misguided Ponies were advancing, instantly you saw those two mediums there, just beeline towards where they kind of knew the arty would be for the Misguided Ponies. And as well as that, we saw the lights going for the cap, and starting that off, it was just kind of mechanical, I want to say, there from the Grumpy Old Men.
Yes, indeed. Definitely displaying their experience there. And definitely, I think Misguided Ponies, there's no doubt they've got the mechanics, they've got the smarts, and they definitely they definitely can have the potential to take it to Grumpy Old Men. It has been touted as a game to watch. I don't know, they really got outmaneuvered in that game by Grumpy Old Men. And, Misguided Ponies now have to go back and think about that. I think the next match, obviously, is still going to be on Ruinberg. So, as I was saying, we've got the contrast between Cityscape and, obviously, the rolling hills on the right side of the map. How is that going to come into play? The Grumpy Old Men going to pick a tank composition, or, pick a formation that allows them to take advantage of those streets, make it a little bit harder to spot? Or are they going to try and go wide, try and flank, try and use those hills to their advantage, and vice versa as well? We don't know what strats these teams have obviously prepared on these maps, but it's pretty do or die here. Grumpy Old Men, had obviously that very, very strong first round match against Wolfpack Hunters, going 2-0 now, up against Misguided Ponies, who had that bye in the first round. Will that be a telling sign? Misguided Ponies now have had a game to get into the feel of things a bit more. And Ruinberg, anything could happen. It's one of those maps. It's no Himmelsdorf. It's not, it's definitely going to be showing, a bit of both worlds there. But by the same token, you have two options available for your approach, and both, depending on which one you commit to, can actually have a very, very different impact on the game, and also the tanks you choose as well. So we'll have to wait and see for that one, Go-Go.
Absolutely. So it'll be interesting to see what these guys bust out on this next game, of course. So and this is the Misguided Ponies, their last chance to kind of show what they've got if they want to advance into the semi-finals. Of course, they're going to have to pull out something big here. So once we can get into that next match, we will of course get that one underway, and I'm pretty excited for it. So like you said, it'll be interesting to see what sort of tactics we see these guys go for in the next match. I suppose in terms of what I'd expect, I mean, we could see teams really utilising those kind of tight streets in the city side of the map to their advantage. Maybe picking some heavier tanks for there. Although earlier on in the day, we've seen some tank destroyers as well, and although they haven't been going too well for the teams that have picked them, unfortunately, it's been a bit of potential there. So we could even see some TDs coming out. So I suppose you just got to wait and see for the match.
Yes, indeed. I mean, A little bit hard to use those tank destroyers effectively in a cityscape context because you need to be facing the front. Like a lot of them don't have those rotary turrets. I mean, with the exception of a few cheeky of the tank destroyers. But what you want to do essentially is use them in a defensive context. And when you're playing a map, like Himmelsdorf, for example, a little hard to do that. It's very, very easy to get flanked out if you stay, static for the entire map, because there are many, many avenues and routes in which to get around, to get behind an opponent, and tank destroyers, quite frankly, don't deal well with that kind of environment. So Himmelsdorf is it's a unique map in that artillery are less effective and tank destroyers to a certain extent as well. You do need to choose the right ones, the mobile ones, the ones that are good at getting in and out. So, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Ruinberg being a bit different there, we might be able to, that old classic pub strat when you're driving your light tank around, just, being a pain in the ass and scouting some enemies and a Hetzer shoots you from the cover of bushes, So maybe we'll see some of that. Maybe we will see some defensive formations because so far, I mean, apart from obviously the last game, we did see the older gamers play a bit more defensive and that was good. But on a more open map with a bit more brushes, we might see some rumble in the jungle, Gogo. We'll have to wait and see.
Potentially, Uber. So, looks like for now that we have got this room up, guys. So, we are very, very close to starting this match. And it looks like we've got those tanks sorted out on either side there. So, I'll just quickly run through the Misguided Pony side. I think we've got all of the tanks in there. So, for the Misguided Ponies, they've got two Tier 2 lights, those very fast Tier 2 American light tanks. You can really get up to a cracking pace in those, so made for great scouts. They've also got 3 IS-3s, so really opting for that heavy armor there. And they've also got a T69 and their Arty, which is the Tier 6 M12 this game. So pretty formidable looking lineup, I think, Kerber.
Yeah, definitely. The Grumpy Old Men, kind of, you're looking for a bit of a mixed strategy as well. We are seeing the Leish Tractor and the Panzer 1C, but the 2 T69 medium tanks there, they can get up to 50 k's an hour. That is, that is no snail pace. They can really get along. Definitely those T2 lights on the side of MP are quick, get up to like 45 k's, so they're very handy in that regard. We are seeing an IS-3 coming out there for Dodgy Bob. And Bingo Bongo's going to take his favourite little AMX 5100. So Ruinberg is on like Donkey Kong. And it's definitely going to be one to see here now. It'll be the Grumpy Old Man going up against, Misguided Ponies. Some interesting, some differing tank compositions here now. We'll have to see how this comes to play on this map, Gogo. It's going to be definitely, one, I guess, for some other teams to watch as well. Maybe get some strats, maybe get some secret tips and tricks, the special tactics, if you will.
Absolutely, Uber. So, we're getting this match underway. 5 seconds until we start this. So, Misguided Ponies, they're going to be down south here around the JK start. So, we're going to get this match underway. So, let's have a look at what the teams are doing early on. So, as we see, Misguided Ponies, they've already started to send a few of their heavies there. Two of their IS-3s, one of their T69s. They're only T69 even, around to the kind of centre there, the centre of the city, potentially heading towards that F1 area. As I say that, though, looks like Neo 691 on this other IS-3, he's just kind of moving towards that general kind of one line as well. So
very interesting play here from Grumpy Old Men. They are going wide on the right flank there. They are using that more, verdant area of the map. And they're trying to get around pretty quickly, so only they have placed a scout on that one of the main roads in the actual cityscape there. Obviously, they need to have that early warning, but if things go bad and the Misguided Ponies make a real rush for their base, they're going to have to really, they're going to have to haul ass. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
they are sitting
absolutely.
Now up about D9, and they're just sitting there. They're really watching that road that comes down the right side of the map, and they have no intel on Misguided Ponies at the moment. So they really are flying blind, and they're just hoping now that this is sneaky. This is actually really sneaky. They're going very far out wide. They probably will be spotted, but their artillery sitting back in the corner of the map as well. That Lorraine 155-50. So we'll have to wait and see when they do spot the Misguided Ponies how they're going to react.
Yeah, absolutely. So for now, though, Looks like the Misguided Ponies, they're pretty content. As we actually see over there, the T2 light does actually spot Blade 24 there. A bit of a little light engagement there. Tex Walker comes out of that on the back foot. So he's going to have to reload that auto-loader, of course. Blade 1224, obviously having that Panzer 1C tier above. He actually does spot the Griven there in the T69, and the T2 light gets destroyed there. So no more eyes for the Misguided Pony on the right side of the map, and already we can see the Misguided Ponies, they're kind of starting to move back to their base.
Yes, Grumpy Old Men being very, very careful not to show too much of their hand there. As you, I don't know if you saw that, but they did send Griven on one of the T69s to assist Blade 1244 on the Panzer 1C to take down, obviously, Tex Walker on the T2 light. They tried to keep their heavies sort of out of sight range. They didn't want to blow their cover. You know, they're not all just going to, shoot at the one light tank and waste their rounds. But now it's on like Donkey Kong. They are pushing in towards the cityscape here, coming through at about G7. They are going to come, pretty much just above the enemy base. We have spotted Zero Rose and Ritter now, and here we go. They are pushing straight in through the city. The cat's out the bag, and they are wanting to make a game of this one now. Go.
Yeah, absolutely. Griven just got hit by for 400 there on his T69, so he's not spotted anymore. But as we see, a couple of light tanks around the F1 area for the Grumpy Old Men, and Misguided Ponies, they're turning around now. They don't know what to do, so a bit of confusion here that these light tanks are creating. So let's take a look at this Nana Hammock there. He might try and engage this Panzer 1C, but in the T2 light, it's going to be slightly hard to get the pen on that, as we actually see the T69 get the kill on the Artie there. So, that is bad news for the Misguided Ponies.
Again, Artie going down early, but Zero Rose and Ritter manages to take down Blade, so takes down that light tank. Now, some interesting bit of diversion the light tanks are creating here. We have pulled Neo in the 691 on his IS-3 all the way up to H1, way out of position compared to where the rest of the Grumpy Old Men have got themselves set up. So Griven doing some damage on the T69, and Major Miner now got himself into the bottom right corner, so he's well positioned to take shots onto the enemy base. There's going to be no cityscape really protecting him, so he's going to sit and wait, and I don't think that the Misguided Ponies really have the freedom to go out and take him out there. So, using that advantage now, obviously Major Miner knows that, M Fighter on that M12 artillery is down, and now the Grumpy Old Men are going to seek to capitalize on this, bit of loss of mobility and, versatility from Misguided Ponies. But interesting enough, they seem to be turning around and heading back towards the middle of the map now. We do see the most of their force heading back through G5. They are heading back now. Major Miner also making sure he follows him. He is staying on that right side of the map now. He's at about E0. And Grumpy Old Men have no idea now what Misguided Ponies are doing, but they are all heading back to base. Go.
They're all heading back to base. Well, okay, so the Misguided Ponies, they're still kind of pretty close to their base. In fact, we got Steed on the T69 there, Terminator on that IS-3, and Rose and Ritter there on his own IS-3. Kind of hanging around the base as well, so playing it a bit defensively here, and they don't want to make any mistakes. They know that Major Miner is still up, so they don't have the Artie cover of M-Fighter. M-Fighter's already gone down, of course, so they're just playing it nice and safe here. Don't want to make any mistakes, don't want to give up any free shots. So and of course they do not know where the Grumpy Old Men are at the moment, so very bit of tense play here. Bit of cautious play as well from the Misguided Ponies, but now it looks like they're just kind of edging up towards maybe the one line here, and it looks like they're pushing. Yes, indeed. A very clever play from the Grumpy Old Men that they were anticipating a counter push now, because they committed such a great amount of their force onto that initial engagement in the cityscape. They quickly ran back and they just set around the corner at B5, so just around the corner from their base where they couldn't be spotted very quickly to bait that push. And obviously, if they can get the element of surprise in this game, especially when you're grouped together and can focus fire so much, is absolutely crucial. So now, obviously, with the Misguided Ponies making that advance, the Grumpy Old Men are poised to take them out, and here they come now. They are coming straight up the guts and have been spotted by Fresh Meat. Heavy damage going down now, and obviously Zero Rose and Ritter having to back off now, copying some heavy damage. And look at this Dodgy Bob and Big O Bongo from Grumpy Old Men anticipated that push up that mid street perfectly. They got some crucial damage now, and that's going to lay the Misguided Ponies a little bit low for now. Go. Yeah, absolutely. We saw a few free shots essentially coming out from the grumpy old men there, and Misguided Ponies now, they're kind of hurting a little bit, but now they do kind of have an inkling of where the grumpy old men are, so it looks like for now they're backing up, potentially trying to get into a better position to attack that base of the grumpy old men there, as we actually see as well, Steed, so we can flick to him actually as we see, we see a spot there, yeah, Griven actually almost goes down 2% there, Steed actually helps Neo 691 finish off that T69 there. So great bit of play there from Steed. So Panzers, they've got one down. Artie shot just misses Steed there. I think it was an Artie shot. And they're pushing up into the 6th line now, Uber.
Interestingly enough, they Griven quite low before that engagement. Did take 2 kills earlier on in the game on those lighter targets, but lost a considerable amount of health. He was 20% before that went down. And Grumpy Old Man with absolutely no vision of the Misguided Ponies. They are moving to a very defensive formation here now. Unfortunately, you've got to be careful. That artillery obviously is caught out in that back corner of the map. But, you know, essentially, as well as using his position for safety, Major Miner knows that he can bait out like some aggression here from the Misguided Ponies if they do choose to go that way. But I think now we have seen like Grumpy Old Men really pull into their shell like a hermit crab. Really, they have really turtled up here. They're expecting. They don't know what angle that the Misguided Ponies are going to come from now. They're just trying to be ready for anything. Definitely turling up on their base. They obviously lost Griven in that last engagement, so that's the first of the their major teammates going down. Whereas, you know, the Misguided Ponies still have that one scout. And unfortunately, Grumpy, I mean, without that, they've got the AMX 50-100, the ISC, the T69, and the Lorraine 155-50 artillery. So they've got a good mix, but the numbers and the scout is in favour of, obviously, the Misguided Ponies, and 2 kills on Neo 691. He's doing very well so far, Gogo. Yeah, absolutely. And so we just talking about the scout there, I'm following Nana Hammock there on that T2 light. So he just had a little bit of a poke up to the kind of E0 area there, just checking that kind of area of the town. Now he's moving towards the city, so he's just playing it safe, making sure that Grumpy Old Men aren't doing any sort of I'm putting any sort of shenanigans around the back of the Misguided Ponies there. So, you know, nice bit of play there from Nana Hammock, but he's certainly not getting any aggressive sort of scouting done, I should say. So for now, though, it looks like Misguided Ponies just playing it very defensively here, and they do not want to give any more free shots onto the Grumpy Old Men, just kind of sitting up, camping around the E4 area at the moment, so just playing it very, very safe on their side. Yes, indeed. Look, we might see a draw here. In fact, it might go down to obviously 0 on the timer, and interestingly enough, that may be a bit difficult for the Grumpy Old Men here, because I think it's need a tier advantage of 7. I think to that actually rings a bell. Yep. Yeah, to be able to take it out. So, you know, doing a quick tally here, 32-34 on the side of Misguided Ponies, where it's 20. It's pretty close, actually. I don't think it's going to be enough, actually, for the Misguided Ponies to get on top there. But heavy damage now onto Fresh Meters. He really makes himself vulnerable to the Terminator shot there on that IS-3. They are trying to make something of this. Now, we have spotted the Misguided Ponies pushing up there on that road that goes between E3 to E6. And now, Fresh Meat taking so much free damage there. Zero Rosen Ritter laying him low with that shot there from his own IS-3. And I'll tell you what, that's going to be the end of the game. And it looks like it's going to be a draw there. So I'm not sure how that works out in terms of tier points. Gogo, you may have to advise on that one. Yeah, absolutely. So we'll have a quick check with our admins there. And yeah, I think a draw. It sounds like it will be a draw there. So you know, just have a quick check of that and keep all of you guys updated. So for now, though, I mean, that was a nice bit of play there from both teams. But at the end there, you know, the Misguided Ponies, they kind of almost had Fresh Meat down. Fresh Meat, he was, you know, ended the battle on 46% health. But that was just a very, very close match there. But for now, guys, we'll just flick on a quick video while we're checking up on whether that was indeed a draw for that second match in the best of 3. Stay tuned.
Okie dokie, guys, welcome back, and yeah, it would seem that we do have clarification that it is indeed 8 points that you need in terms of a tier advantage for a win there. So that match was a draw, Uber. So we're going to be seeing the next match getting underway. I do believe pretty soon once we get this training room up. So it should be a pretty intense match. I wonder if they're going to stick with the same map for this one.
Yeah, generally I believe in the case of a replay, you got to play the same map again. So obviously, yeah, a tier difference of 8 wasn't achieved, so we can't actually call that, you know, it's a minor victory in any case. I mean, in war, no one wins, but in this game especially, we are definitely trying to find, you know, a clear winner, and we couldn't find one there. So we are going to see a replay on this map. Same tank picks, and we need to be ahead by 8 tier points, really, at the end of time. So, you know, interesting play we did see on that map there. I feel like Grumpy Old Men were a bit tentative in the way they played. They got cold feet while they were pushing onto the base of, you know, those Misguided Ponies, and they pulled back, they turtled up. The Misguided Ponies were, you know, they were advancing at turtle speed there. So obviously, same tank picks. We are going to see the 5100 IS-3 2 T69s, the Lorraine 155-50, and those 2 scouts for the Grumpy Old Men. Go,
yeah,
as we see pretty much the same thing on the other side too, mate.
Yep, that's right. So for the Misguided Ponies, they've got those 3 IS-3s, that T69 medium. They are taking the M12 for their arty, and those 2 scouts, those 2 tier 2 lights. And I tell you what, I've actually got the tier 2 light. Very fun tank to pilot, nice and speedy. So, you know, one thing which we actually didn't see in the last game, Nana Hammock, he was still alive on that tier 2 light. I felt as though he could have almost scout a little bit more aggressively than he did at the end there, but nonetheless we're getting this match underway, so let's see if the team shake up their tactics at all, or whether it will be a case of another sort of firefight around the F1 area or so. So it looks like Misguided Ponies, they're kind of starting off in a similar way, Uber.
Yes, and pretty much the same here for Grumpy Old Men, but instead of going wide, they actually are sticking to the outer radius of that cityscape, and they are coming through at about E6 now, so they are trying to spearhead their way in. You know, their impatience, obviously, last night was a bit frustrating. No one really managed to come out on top, but here we go. Those 2 light tanks are going to be going out at hammering tongs here. Blade up against Tex Walker, and that'll be providing more of a distraction to really what's really happening here. Neo 69 getting spotted here for the Grumpy Old Man. I'm not sure if he's really at an angle that they can pick him up, and he has sort of, yeah, a bit hard to see. He was spotted by Trozos on the light tractor there. So important intelligence coming out there for, you know, the Grumpy Old Men, and hopefully they can capitalise on this, but they are sitting pretty well tied at E5, just turning up on the side of that street.
Yeah, absolutely. So we see Steed down in that T69. He's just kind of poking his head out around towards the Misguided Ponies cap area. So he's in a pretty good position there. But once again, we see that light tank spotted there. Trozos on the light tractor, but he's not going to be able to obviously be shot there from where he is. So nice bit of scouting from Trozos. In the meantime, though, Neo 61, he's behind this church here on that IS-3, so he's in a pretty good position if Grumpy Old Men decide to attack from the kind of 2 line there. And it looks like Misguided Ponies there. They're pretty keen to stick with this strategy. They're obviously comfortable with it, and it looks like, yeah, once again they've also got M Fighter on that artillery around about the K1 area.
Yes, indeed. Blade getting on top of Tex Walker. They're pretty solid. They're only losing 6% off his HP, managing to take out that enemy scout. And while not a massively, you know, not a meteoric engagement in terms of the, you know, the entire map, it is very, very important. Scout taking down Scout on Trozos. Now spots 2 Terminator 0, Rosen Ritter coming straight at him with the shots on. He goes down very, very quickly, but Count is out of the bag now. Losing that scout for the Grumpy Old Men isn't so bad, because now they have a pretty good idea of what's going on here. And it does seem like, obviously, those Misguided Ponies tailing up in that sort of mid-circle F1 around there. So important bit of information, but it doesn't seem like Grumpy Old Men are looking to capitalise on that just yet. Go.
Yeah, not quite. And actually, Steed there, he's going to spot out Blade 12244 in that scouting Panther there. So I think Steed might actually be able to get the kill here. And it looks like, oh, Blade 1244 actually dodges it. So very nice dodge there from Blade. And he's going to try and get a few hits onto Steed. Obviously not penning Steed there, taking him out. But Bingo Bongo there on that AMX 5100 is spotted by Steed there. So they're going to know where he is. Actually, Steed takes a bit of a hit there, 300 damage. And damages his right track. So he's going to retreat there, but has all of the scout tanks down for the grumpy old man. So in a similar situation to what we saw last game. But actually, as I say that, Dodgy Bob.
Flanked him here.
Oh, wow. Great bit of play there from grumpy old man. Neo takes so much damage. Dropped down to 41% health there. Getting into a nice safe position now. But the damage is done. 60% health has been taken off that IS-3 of Neo 691 there. And that was just a great move by the grumpy old man.
Nice work, you know, time to take the advantage, time to really push and get some damage down. Now we do see the Grumpy Old Man split into two divisions now. Fresh Meat now, I've got to see Terminator come around the corner. They're not looking the right direction though, and Bingo Bongo takes heavy damage from Terminator there. They're going to have to turn their turrets around and get firing, but will it be enough? Terminator copying some damage, Bingo Bongo going very, very low, 23% of his health. And now on the other side of things, Griffin and Dodgy Bob doing it pretty easily, but I tell you what, Fresh Meat and his mate Bingo Bongo, not so much, copying some heavy damage now. It is only 3 tanks left for the Grumpy Old Man. The IS-3 T6 and 2 T69s, and they are struggling. Fresh Meat copying it now. His observation device does go down, and he's going to get pushed now. Zero Rose and Ritter coming up. Yes, finally Griffin coming to assist Fresh Meat from behind, but it's not really going to be enough. He's too far away to really make a huge impact. And I tell you what, this turtle play from from these Misguided Ponies is proving to be very, very strong. They have managed to get around Fresh Meat. He can't do anything. He's going to go down now. Does get a shot off onto Zero Rose and Ritter, and here very low. The Misguided Ponies are going, but I tell you what now, Grumpy Old Men are on the back foot here, Gogo.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see the Dodgy Bob just poking his head around the corner. He does actually get a nice shot onto Terminator, 400 damage going out to him. Terminator's only on 5% left. Dodgy Bob takes about the same as well. Zero Rose and Ritter pokes around the corner, takes a lot of damage actually. He's down to about 500 health. Another shot taken, down to 14%. So he's going to back off now, and look at all of the health on the Misguided Pony side as we as we see, they're all so low. 14%, 8%, 5%, 24%. And as we see, the grumpy old man there, Dodgy Bob, he's going to poke his head around the corner, try and get a shot, potentially a kill onto Neo, but wow, takes a lot of damage himself.
See, that's the thing, a tank with 1% health can still deal some massive damage. Now, Dodgy Bob tried to poke Neo, only 8% health, but he didn't get the shot off and took some heavy damage instead. Dodgy Bob needs to make the shot now. Again, cops damage there, managed to take down Zero Rose and Ritter. That was Griffin on the T69. But again, some heavy damage going for not too much gain. There we go now. We are seeing Steve drop, but the base is being capped, and it's going to be pretty solid there because there's nothing that the grumpy old men can really do to get themselves out of this one. Griffin going very, very low there, and trying to get some poke here. These two tanks very low. Terminator and Neo very, very low. But grumpy old Manning, getting tracked there now, Dodgy Bob, and he can't move, so he's got to get that shot on the Terminator. Does it well. Neo 691, the last one standing. Griffin's going to go and try and defend his base. A bit of a turn of events here because it's pretty even in numbers, no, but Neo on 8% health, Dodgy Bob 1% of health. This is a really crucial poke here. He needs to get this next shot. It means everything now going up against Neo 691. Neo poking around that corner. Dodgy Bob just being very, very careful about it now, as we do see Griffin just he's hot putting it back home. He knows he needs to defend there. Oh no! Again, Fighter goes down. Dodgy Bob takes him out, and then we got Neo pushing around the corner, trying to use that reload time from Dodgy Bob. And yes, they did sacrifice the artillery for that kill. So Neo gets up on top with 8% of health now. Nana Hammock managing to get the capture down pretty solidly now. He is well hidden. Griffin's going to come straight through and having to cancel the capture here. It is a 1v2 situation. Griffin going up against Neo 691. Oh, Nana Hammock does go down. It's a 1v1 situation now. It is a 21% health on Griffin, and Neo 691 on 8% of health. Go Gadget, it's getting tight here, man.
Oh, it is so tight here. This is all down to this 1v1 to seal the deal in this second match here. Neo 691, he's moving towards the corner, and he's going to potentially even poke around it. He's trying to proxy spot, obviously using that 50 meters range to see where Griffin is, but he can't see him yet, so potentially Griffin could have retreated there. Neo 691, he has to play this so careful, and that is exactly what he's doing here. So he's kind of edging in towards the cap there. 2 minutes 25 left on the clock. Neo 691, he does not want to take a single other shell here. He will of course drop if that shell pans, and it is a battle here between the IS-3 and boom! Yes, Griffin gets it!
Well, I'll tell you what, on the Neo 691, just poking out a little bit too far. Griffin making him pay for that one. Proxy spotting, hugging that wall very, very well. He comes away with 3 kills from that game. I tell you what, that was an explosive one. And after that draw, I was thinking, oh, I'm not sure how this is going to go down. But Grumpy Old Men, clutching a victory from the jaws of defeat, seeming like they were completely flanked and taken down. Some fantastic cohesions on focus fire. And I think the Misguided Ponies taking so much free damage, Go-Go, that really they weren't able to take it through. And some lovely, lovely work from the Grumpy Old Men in the late stages of that one.
Oh, that was just such an intense, close game in that one. And I cannot even describe that. We saw so many huge plays from both sides. And, the Misguided Ponies, they just were so close to victory. They could taste it, but they couldn't seal the deal. Griffin there on the T69, the hero of the Grumpy Old Men in that one. And just took it home for them. And, there were so many big plays in that battle as well. We saw, just before M-Fighter on that M12 Artie took a shot so that Neo 691 could finish off I think it was one of the heavy tanks from the Grumpy Old Men. We actually saw M-Fighter on that Artie. He just used his cannon as a sort of TD, and he got a 400 damage hit just straight out onto one of the members of the Grumpy Old Men in the streets. So that was just absolutely amazing to watch there. And in the end, that game will go to the Grumpy Old Men.